The whistleblowing website WikiLeaks has vowed it'll continue exposing the truth, despite its founder being detained in the UK on an international arrest warrant. Julian Assange is wanted in Sweden on allegations of rape. He denies the charges and says he will fight extradition. The 39-year-old also claims it's a political witch hunt by the US after his site's repeated disclosures of secret American files. Previously, he'd warned that he'd publish an informational bomb if arrested. Well, for more, I'm now joined by Charlotte Agard. She's an investigative journalist in Denmark. Well, now, Assange, as I've just mentioned, is claiming this is a witch hunt against him. Do you think that Sweden is bowing to US pressure in the hope that he'll eventually be locked up in prison?
Well, it is very difficult to know if there is a diplomatic pressure behind this. We have no evidence of such a pressure. But it is a very interesting coincidence that these charges are brought against him, just as he has been leaking these enormous amount of diplomatic cables.
What would it be, though, for Sweden? I mean, what have they got an interest in terms of enabling this extradition of Assange to their country in order for him to face trial? What's in it for Sweden, if there is an agenda?
Yeah, it is a big if, but Sweden is of course not a neutral country. They might say that they're neutral, but they are aligned with NATO. So there might be some political interest behind. But the fact of the case is that there are two women who have actually brought charges against him, and they are remarkably similar, these charges. What
about the timing of these charges? I mean, the rape story actually emerged back in August, and now we see Sweden coming back to this issue after the latest leaks. I mean, coincidence here, do you think?
Well, it is quite interesting because the charges that were brought against Assange in the summer were withdrawn after just 24 hours, and it seems that there has been some kind of a proof problem. Now the charges have been brought back and the international arrest warrant put out, and it is an interesting coincidence that it happens just a few weeks after this the release of the diplomatic cables, which is very inconvenient for a lot of Western governments, not just the US, but most Western governments and other global governments. But
will this arrest prevent the future leaks of any diplomatic cables, do you think?
I really don't think it will. WikiLeaks have been putting out an insurance on the internet site that everybody could download, and they have said that in the case of arrest of Assange or another attack on WikiLeaks, they will release the key to open this insurance file, which is very heavily protected. So in that file, we expect that all the documents that WikiLeaks have might be in that file.
So this is the reference to the informational bomb.
Yes, I think so, because they put out this insurance file just last week, and everybody has been downloading it, of course, in the media, and we expect that we will be given a key soon.
Now, your newspaper, the one you work for, it's somewhat of a whistleblower, I understand, there in Denmark. Have you faced similar pressures from government forces when you want to try and raise particularly sensitive issues?
No, luckily we have not been subject to any pressure, but we had very funny experience where the government was asking us to provide all the Iraq documents. Those were the documents released in October, because they couldn't find them themselves, and that was kind of funny because it was American documents, and one should expect that they could just ask their very close ally, the US, to have those documents.
But nevertheless, if you did feel some sort of pressure trying to prevent you from disclosing any information, would that actually motivate you even further to actually go ahead and issue any sensitive information?
Yes, of course. But what has happened in Denmark is actually that both the defense forces and the government has closed down completely and refused to comment on anything based on information from WikiLeaks. And this leaves a very open space for critical journalists. But I regret that it is like this. I would really prefer that the government would take up these very important discussions that the documents are actually leading up to.
Charlotte Agard, thank you very much indeed. Very interesting to hear what you have to say. Investigative journalist from Denmark's independent daily Information, joining us live on RT.